Hey, I'm back, baby.
This an all-out blitz. Real hard hits, them other podcast trash, we gon' make them all quit. We cover all the topics with intelligence and logic. I know you wanna score, but ID gon' stop it. We from Texas, so that mean that we Texans. Breaking down the X's and O's, our profession. No complaining, just training, you see the progression. They had a Pro Bowl for talk shows, we get selected. We gon' celebrate every win like a birthday. Ray J with the news, first with all the updates. Spin move on the competition, yeah, we juking them. You not really in touch if you not tuning in. This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown, we not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they bout to stampede.
What's the deal, everybody? Welcome to the Texans Fan Battle Podcast. Got a special guest tonight. Before I get off, matter of fact, let me stop. Happy Black History Month, everybody.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Happy Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
Happy Black Panther 2 on Disney Plus to everybody.
Ooh,
you know,
I'm gonna watch that tonight. I totally forgot about that.
Just in case y'all didn't know. So let me get off to my amazing trio here. We got the Reddit legend, Twitter legend, space legend, and if you get on his bad side, he would cuss you the fuck out. We got Mr. Brown Chubby Bear here.
How's it going, guys?
And apparently he can't hold his liquor either, so watch out.
Then we got the man that had the vision for this podcast, and he was grateful enough to bring us along. We got Mr. Matthew Briggs here. Say what up to everybody.
What's going on, buddy? Everybody, happy to be here again. Happy Black History Month. Great day to celebrate it.
All right. Special guest here, man. He is one of the 7 people that I love from the city of Cleveland.
Hey, that's a long list.
That's a long list. You know,
half of them were probably made up by Bone Thugs and Harmony. So.
I mean, look, hey, we got Gerald Levert, we got Halle Berry, we got Steve Harvey. You know, we got Bone. Who am I missing now? We got Tom Hanks, and then we got this man right. Then we got this man. We got this man right here, Mr. Figgy Fig. Say what's up to everybody.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling, man? What's up, everybody?
What's up? All right, man. Before I start, first of all, I want to know this, and I think the fellas want to know, and the fans want to know. How did that picture come up with you, Hannah, and Cal? And how did you get Cal to throw up the H like that?
So I ain't gonna lie, man. I can't take no credit for Cal throwing that. That was all him. I did not expect that.
He's down for the culture, huh?
Yeah. So he came over. We was on the red carpet, and he came over talking to us, him and Hannah. And I'm like, hey, what's up? I think the highlight of my night was him talking about my drip. He came over like, man, look at your drip, man. Look at you, man. So I'm like, cool. So they had to go over to, I want to say it was ABC 13 to do an interview. And they came back to us. And they did a little interview with Landry Locker. And so I told the Texans PR guy, I said, hey, before they go, I just want to get a quick selfie. I'm like, all right, cool. So when he was done with the interview, I was like, hey, Cal, Hannah, take a picture real quick. And so right before I was about to hit the snap button, he threw out that H real quick, like, and I took it. I'm like, damn, I wasn't expecting that. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So when I posted the picture, people were just going crazy, like, dang, he threw out the H, what? So I had no responsibility. I ain't telling him to do it. People thought I told him to do it, but he just did it on his own.
Now, did you think everybody was going to Photoshop it and do everything they did to the picture?
No, I ain't think so, man. Because you know what, man? Like, I talked to Kyle a few times, man. So he pretty familiar with the show and all that, familiar with me. This is how he act, man. He's super cool and laid back. He's super loose. So it's so weird whenever he do interviews or he be at the podium he kind of frees up a little bit. So people think he talk like that all the time, but during the breaks and when we off camera, he be cutting up. He be having some fun and all that stuff. So I think this was one of the rare moments on the red carpet where he was just loose, he was cool, he was confident. And that's the common narrative that I know. I know whenever you do a press conference and all that stuff, he kind of, he sound like a robot or he sound like he reading. But when he not around the mic, man, he be cutting up. So I think him throwing up the H was really him.
I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
I think that's probably the next guest we're gonna have to get after February. I think we're gonna have to shoot for Cal, huh?
Yeah, man. I think he was like that because he knew DeMeco was coming. I think that's what it was, man. So he was real confident.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get off to NFL news. Tom Brady retired. I think he retired for good this time. I don't know. But I'm gonna ask you guys 3 minutes or less. What did you just tell me about his career? A good moment, a bad moment. Are you mad? Are you sad? Are you happy? I'm gonna start with you, Figgy Fig.
So, I gotta confess, man. I was a Tom Brady fan. I wasn't.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't a stan or anything. Like I was low key a Patriots fan. I wouldn't even say low key. I was a Patriots fan because when he first won the Super Bowl, man, that was early on when the Browns first came back to Cleveland. So it really wasn't a good team like that. And I just remember this guy named Tom Brady who was
the underdog, the true underdog.
Nobody knew who this guy was, and he pretty much helped that team to a Super Bowl. And this was back when the Patriots was the underdog, so it wasn't like the dynasty Patriots. So I'm like, you know what, this is my team. I'm gonna keep rooting for this team. So yeah, man, I think Tom Brady, the greatest that ever did it. And I know we kind of got tired of him a little bit, but man, I don't know if we're gonna see anything like this anymore, man. We got Pat Mahomes going, and people think he could be the one, but man, the way Tom Brady, just the whole story, how he started and all that stuff, I think it's amazing, man. And like I said, I know we a little tired of him, and we want him to go. But man, that's something I think all of us should appreciate what we, seen, what we grew up to.
Right.
Man, because like 20 years from now, I could tell my kids that I grew up in the Tom Brady era. Yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna see that ever again. So salute to Tom Brady, man.
Salute. All right, Briggs.
Look, man, I'm an Astros fan, so I'm gonna rock with Tom Brady. Like if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning, like point blank. Like I don't hate the man at all, bro. Like he got caught. Everybody else does it. He just got caught. Like Figgy said. He's the true underdog. Drafted in the 7th round or 6th, and come back to be a 7-time Super Bowl champ. It's an amazing story. The guy he's the GOAT. Like, look, we have Derek Jeter in baseball, Michael Jordan in basketball, Tom Brady in football. Like it's what else can you say about the man? I'm glad I got to, like Biggie said, I'm glad I got to witness it.
Okay. And VT, what you think? And tell me, what do you think is going to happen since he's retired right now?
So the first thing I want to say is I think it would have been such a great storybook ending if he retired after he won the Super Bowl in Tampa, instead of going out the way that he went out. I think he would have probably still been married too. So in his personal life it would have been better. That would just been the greatest ending to that, literally a movie career. Being a 6th-round pick and being the GOAT, having the most Super Bowls. No one else is ever going to surpass. I don't think, at least not in my lifetime. I saw something earlier today, and I think me and Crenshaw were talking about this, and not to throw shade at Tom Brady, but if you look at the best quarterbacks in regular season and in Super Bowl season, Tom Brady wasn't necessarily the best quarterback in the regular season. That would be Peyton Manning. He wasn't the best quarterback during the Super Bowl. That'd be Joe Montana, went 6-0, never threw an interception in a Super Bowl. But the thing that he had was dedication and longevity. He dedicated his life to football, which makes him the GOAT. That's undeniable. Even if you're a Tom Brady hater, you can't deny it. The one thing that I do think is because Tom Brady retired is I think that Aaron Rodgers' ego will not allow him to retire. So I think we have him for one more year, and then I think he'll go. But I don't think he's going to want to retire the same year Brady retires. He wants his own year, his own off season, so everyone can celebrate him.
Yeah. And the Hall of Fame as well. He could go in the following year instead of going in with JJ and Thomas Brady.
Right.
Yeah. I want to add real quick to what you just said. I think also he wasn't the best athlete. It wasn't like he was this freakish athlete. If you look at his first picture, it's like, man, who is this dude? Like, did this dude play sports?
He wasn't even a starter at Michigan. Like
Yeah.
Olsen or somebody like that was the starter at Michigan. Like, you would never know he would be the GOAT. Like,
if you show me that picture and say this would be the greatest quarterback of all time, I would probably smack you.
Right.
But man, show you that he was dedicated to being great, and he showed that. Even this past year, his last season, it wasn't the best season, but it was better than a lot of people's season. And the dude 45. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, what I can remember from Thomas is the tuck rule, and ever since that game right there, the NFL has been his. I'm glad he's gone, but like you guys said, he is the GOAT. That word gets thrown around a little bit too much. Everybody can't be no damn GOAT. I mean, I've heard we got 4 GOATs on the Texans right now. I'm like, damn, everybody's a GOAT. So, but he's the GOAT. I mean, like, to me, the original GOAT is Muhammad Ali, because he always just say, I'm the greatest of all time. That's where it came from. Then we got MJ, and then we got Tom Brady, man. So, congratulations, Tom. Hope you're doing good with the kids and the wife. She'll come around. You'll get her back.
I know, man. Have you seen this new girl?
I think.
Bye, Giselle. See you later. Time to upgrade.
All right. So let's get off a little bit more news. So we got an injury to the rookie sensation from the 49ers, Mr. Brock P. They say he had they say it was a UC. What is a UCL?
UCL, right? In his elbow.
Yeah.
Basically, his ligament isn't there.
Yeah. Now they say he might get Tommy John surgery. I'm like, damn, I ain't know football players get Tommy John surgery, So like he's gonna be out, 12 months. So that leaves Trey Lance, because Shanahan today said Jimmy G not gonna be on the team. So VT, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts and give me a little bit of Brian's thoughts as well.
So the first thing is I was a big Brock Purdy fan.
You so damn was.
I love the storyline. I thought that he had great pocket presence. Something you don't see in a rookie a lot of times. You'll see a lot of happy feet. I just really loved how he was performing against. I think the Raiders was a great game where even though he was throwing, he not necessarily loose with the ball, but he still showed like with the immense pressure he could still throw the ball. Something you don't see like that, So anyway, I was a big fan. Here's the issue now. They're gonna have Lance and then Purdy if he comes back this season. If he doesn't get the surgery, the minimum time he's out is 6 months. It could be more even if he doesn't get the surgery, right? So the other thing though is they don't necessarily have money to get a vet, and Kyle Shanahan said Jimmy G's gone. So they could really be in for a bad season if, Trey Lance is coming off an injury. They could really be in for a bad season quarterback-wise because from a cap space perspective, they can't afford a vet. And what that also means for us as Texans fans and as fans that just got DeMeco, we could be getting a couple players because they may need to free up cap if they need to get a quarterback.
Exactly.
So, who are the players that I put on the list here? Charles Omenihu, Samson, I'm sorry, bro, I'm going to murder your last name. Samson Ebukam, and Jimmy Ward. So those are the 3 dudes that would be my target to bring over here and potentially get a chance of actually getting them.
Travis Ward too might be another one that he can come here too.
I don't know what his contract, honestly, what he would want. So I can't remember off the top of my head, but just from a money standpoint, I think these three dudes at least are doable from a cap space perspective. We're going to have about $75 million after that update from the NFL, an additional $16 million. So after we release everyone and cut all the projections and extend Tunsil and all that fun stuff, we should have about $75 million. That's a lot of money, man. We got to start spending it.
Yeah. All right. So, another big news today. Well, yesterday, Sean Payton was hired by the Denver Broncos. Now, Fig, let me ask you a question. Are you a Sean Payton fan? Did you want Sean Payton to be the coach, or are you happy with who we have right now?
So I was a Sean Payton fan. I respect what he did in New Orleans, but I was just not on board trading picks for a head coach, man. Look, man, I don't care. I mean, unless it's Bill Belichick 10 years ago or something, then I could probably get it. But I just wasn't a fan of giving up a first round pick for Sean Payton, man. So I think the head coaching candidates this year was pretty good. So if we missed out on Sean Payton, I feel like we might have missed, we probably dodged the bullet because you got DeMeco Ryans. I'm very happy with that. If let's say we didn't get DeMeco Ryans, you got Mike Kafka. I think he's pretty good too. So it's so many other options this year where it wasn't like a Sean Payton or bust. Or I kind of think DeMeco Ryans a bust just because he played here and it all makes sense. But
right.
Yeah, but let's say he didn't choose Houston. I think we still would have been good with the candidates we had. But as far as Sean Payton, man, if he wanted to come here and we had to give up nothing, I'd be okay with it, but I feel more comfortable with DeMeco Ryans, man. Sean Payton, I don't know what he got. I don't know what he is without Drew Brees. Maybe he is good, but it was kind of sour the way he left New Orleans a little bit. I can't get that out my mind. So, and then all the other stuff, him going on TV and all this other stuff. So I'm like, what do you really want? Do you just want a cash grab, or are you really down for the rebuild?
Or just being a diva, it seemed he came off like a real big diva to me.
Yeah, I don't look, man. I just, like I said, I respect Sean Payton, but is he that $20 million a year type of coach? Because I didn't look at John Gruden like that. The way the Raiders gave him everything the second time around, I was just like, yeah, like I'd rather get somebody younger and cheaper instead of giving him part owner of the team or whatever crazy deal they gave. I think they gave him like $100 million.
Yeah,
it's just like I don't know if he's that good in my opinion. I think those should be only for the Bill Belichick's the Pete Carrolls. Yeah, I think those three are the only ones I would do that for. But I'm happy with DeMeco Ryans, man. I think it's a perfect marriage, and I think it all makes sense. And I think we definitely dodged the bullet with Sean Payton because it probably would have been a hot mess and a lot of drama.
Okay. Hey, so Briggs, now the compensation for Mr. Payton, do you think that was just about right, or you thought it was going to be more? What do you think?
I mean, right for the Saints, right? Like they got 2 firsts and a second, I think, or something like that. So I mean, good for them, but bad for the Broncos. That's going to look. Everybody thinks the Broncos is one piece away. They're not. They're going to lose a lot of starters on defense. They lost Chubb to that trade to Miami. We don't know what Russell Wilson is. So if you do need a quarterback, you don't got a first round to get one. You don't got no capital to trade up to get one. Because, Chicago is talking about trading their first round. We're talking about trading our first round. Like there's place to do it, but now the Broncos can't because of this trade. I I think it was a bad move, but I think the only one that worked out for it was the Saints. Say the truth.
Okay, all right, makes sense. If he can fit Russ, then he'll be one of the greatest coaches to ever coach. If he can fit Russ, I think Russ is done. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know his future getting to him or what. I don't know what's going on, man. But he need to get it together. All right, man. Let's get into Texas news, man. You know,
yesterday. Can I just pat myself on the back real quick because I just have to.
Oh,
I have to.
I already know what you're gonna say. Go ahead, pat yourself on the back.
So
take your victory lap.
Last Thursday, the news was saying that he was just going to go back to Fox, and I called. I said, I think there's a chance that he goes to the Broncos, and the reason why I said that is because the Broncos are desperate, and we found out how desperate they were when Ian and Adam kind of were going to war a little bit on this story, that they actually went back to DeMeco, back to Jim, because they were just trying to get someone to be the head coach. And the reason they had to choose Sean at the end of the day, they had no other choice. They got rejected 5 times, twice by DeMeco, twice by Jim. Evero said F you. They expended all their options. And finally, they basically said, fuck, we got to give up our draft picks. We have no other choice.
They pulled the Texans of last year is what they did. You know,
I'm sorry.
They pulled the Texans of last year.
That's
put all
kind
their
of
eggs in one basket and then had to do something else.
That's exactly what they did. And you know what? You guys are right about like how screwed they can actually be, because if Sean Payton can't fix Russ, they'll be irrelevant until 2026. Because there's not a goddamn thing you can do. If Russ doesn't work out, they don't have the picks to do anything. So there are it's really all based on the fact that Sean Payton is going to fix Russ. And if he finds out that he can't, and he says, I'm retiring again, what are they going to do? They're out picks, and now they don't know what to do with Russ. So they're in a bad situation.
Also, they in the win. They should be in the Super Bowl bust type situation because remember, before they got Russ, they kept saying quarterback away. If they get the right quarterback, they can match up with the Chiefs. And they traded all of that for the quarterback, and it didn't work out. So now the only thing left to do, because they can't get rid of Russell Wilson, they got to work it out somehow.
Yeah, so especially making that contract, reconstructing that contract. Yeah, they definitely can't cut him,
Yeah, so now they trying to get the best coach on the market, and not to mention you got the Walmart family that they just I feel like they just want to make a splash. They want to get the best out there. It didn't work out right, so they went back crawling to each one of these candidates, and 2 of them said no, so they went crawling back to Sean Payton. Yeah. So I don't even know if Sean Payton really wanted this in the first place either, but money talks. Oh yeah, I don't think anybody else was looking to pay him. I don't even think he'd get hired this year if it wasn't for them. So they, you looking at 2 desperate people. So I don't know. They're gonna try to make this marriage work.
Did the Walmart give Russ that contract, or it was the owner before?
I want to say it's the owner before, because I think they just became the owners like 8 months ago. Yeah. So it wasn't even that long. So I think they walked into a Russ situation.
So basically, he Bill O'Brien them out the door, right? Just fucked it all up.
Damn. Pretty much. So yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, let's get off into Texans news. Texans hired their 6th coach in franchise history. We're gonna have a press conference tomorrow. Figgy Fig. I hope you be there. You gotta be there. You gotta,
I'll be there.
You gotta hold it down. Okay.
Yeah,
you gotta hold it down. All right. Well, before I ask you guys about DeMeco, Ryan Clark said some interesting things about it. Can you play a clip, please?
Oh yeah, my bad.
The thing is this too, like when you look at a guy and y'all know this, I don't want somebody nobody else wants. right? David Culley wasn't about to be a coach in the NFL, right? Lovie Smith wasn't about to get another head coaching job. This is a dude that other teams want. This just wasn't just the Houston Texans saying, oh, I've identified this guy and I think he can coach. No, this is DeMeco Ryans. This is the coach of the #1 defense in the entire NFL. This is a guy that was coveted by other organizations. So getting him is a win for us. We won this time in getting this coach. He's going to be here with me. He's going to help a young Derek Stingley grow. He's going to help a young Petrie at safety grow. He's going to help whatever quarterback we get an opportunity to draft grow. That's important.
Okay, that was Ryan Clark there. Shout out to Ryan Clark on a retweet. We didn't get that type of energy from any national media outlet the last 2 years. And for him to say that, we had to make the right choice here. So I'm going to start off with you, Figgy. Tell me, where were you when you got the news? How did you feel? And what the guys in the office feel about this hire?
So I was actually leaving the station. So this was around maybe 3 o'clock. I got in my car. I think it was around 3:10. I got in the car. I was about to pull out of the parking lot, and I was listening to the drive with Sterner and Hughley. And mind you, I want to say the previous segment, they was talking about Sean Payton getting hired. So I'm like, damn, that's a big deal. So I got in the car, and I heard T Mill, shout out to my dude T Mill, he was playing the celebration music, Cool in the Game celebration. And I heard Ron sitting there saying, yeah, he's a good coach. It'd be good for the city. And, and I'm like, why is they talking about Sean Payton like this? Like, I want to know the draft conversation. And like, why is they celebrating this? And then I get a text from my boss saying, are you still here? Like, come back up. Because we had some promos ready for when they hired DeMeco. We kind of knew we was prepared for it. So I'm like, oh, shoot, let me run back up here. And so I had to put the right promos in and all that stuff. But I think everybody was happy. But it was kind of a thing that I think everyone knew it was going to happen. We seen the signs, but we were just kind of waiting around, and we started getting a little antsy because you got the national media types, the Josina Andersons, and people like that was saying, DeMeco Ryans didn't pull his name out of the consideration for the Broncos. And so it was like, all right, man, like we need to hurry up and make this hire before something crazy happened. But I think everyone around the station was super happy, man. Like genuine happy, because the last 2-3 years was rough. The coaching was rough. And, it's hard. Like a lot of people always think us working at Sports Radio 610 that we like the Texans to be bad because that brings content. And that's BS, man. It's not fun covering a bad team. It's a lot more fun, covering a team that's good. So we want this team to win, and we were super excited. And honestly, the people over at NRG seemed super excited. They were showing pictures. They were showing the pictures of DeMeco in there with Mark Vandermeer and DP Sadu. And everyone genuinely looked happy. And I don't remember that back when Lovey was there or when David Culley was there. So, like I said earlier, this ain't like a perfect marriage. And I think people in the city is genuinely happy about it. And it looked weird when somebody tried to criticize the damn hire. It's like, come on, man. Like, why is you messing up the vibe, man?
Exactly.
like he was, not only was he a former Texan, this dude was the top. He was the top assistant, the top coordinator in this year.
Last 2 years, right?
Yeah. So it's not like we just trying to. It's not like he Jeff Saturday.
Right.
Like this dude, like he was actually good, man. So I'm super excited about it.
Okay, so real quick, number 2 pick, you going quarterback, you going defense?
That's tough, man. Like I was always quarterback, but now that we got DeMeco, I'm like, maybe if he likes somebody on defense, I'm gonna trust his word on that. But honestly, man, I think we should go quarterback, man. I'm still on the quarterback train. However, I think it's going to be tough if, let's say, Indy trade up and get that number 1 pick and they get Bryce Young. At that point, I'm kind of torn a little bit because I'm like, damn, I'm a CJ Stroud guy, but I got questions about him. And two, if the Texans really want Bryce Young, I don't know about trading up to number 1 to get him that bad. So if he fall to us at 2, take him. But I'm not sure how bad I really want him if I want to trade up for him. But I'm still quarterback right now.
Okay. All right, Briggs, talk to me about DeMeco. Cap.
The best signing that we had in forever. Like, I mean, Gary Kubiak, good signing. Bill O'Brien, the most winningest coach in Texans history, a good sign. But this one, I mean, we follow the youth movement, right? That's what we've been preaching all this year. The youth movement. Petrie, Stingley, Harris, the youth, Pierce, the youth. Now we got somebody to follow that. Now he just got to get his staff put together, which I think is going to be a good staff. The list of the guys that he has, good list. So put that together. I think it's solid. What I'm pissed off about is the fans saying, "Oh, we're really going to hire a guy who got boat raced by the Eagles on Sunday." Guys, come on. The defense held him to 260 total yards. The only reason why it was 31-10 was the offense turned the ball over 3 times on their 20-yard line. Like, that's all you got to do is walk the football in. That's all you got to do. I mean, the yards per carry for the whole rushing was, I think, like 2.8. Like, they didn't do anything magnificent. They just got lucky turnovers. They did what a good football team was, and that's take advantage of turnovers. That defense is still a good defense. I think BT or somebody said the passing offense was top 10 last year. It was the rushing defense that was terrible. Have him come fix the rushing defense and keep the top ranked passing defense, and let's build. Let's grind. I'm ready for it. I mean, real good move. But I want to ask you something, Figgy, before I give the mic to the BT. So, say we hire offensive coordinator. Would you and the guys up there be upset if they ask Gary Kubiak to be a special advisor, especially if they have Clint Kubiak come in as a role position coach? Would y'all be upset with it?
I think honestly, and I'm joking when I say this, I think the only person that'd be upset is Landry Locker. he tired of the old people coming in and all that stuff. He want to keep it fresh. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'll be okay with it, but I will say this: the last time I saw Gary, he seemed like he was looking. He seemed like he was stress free. Nah. He was cool. He had a little tan. So,
he had a little Duval going on. He's living his best life, huh?
Yeah. So I think the last thing he's thinking about is getting it back into coaching. But I still think DeMeco can come up with a really nice staff, man. He been surrounded around a lot of good people.
Great coaching.
So I trust him. I don't think he had to get a Gary Kubiak, but I do think he'd get a nice little staff and the whole New England. So the Texans interviewing, I guess, the tight ends coach for New England, whoever. I think that's just them doing their job, man. I wouldn't worry about that too much.
I did some research on that guy though. It seems like everywhere he goes, he succeeds and succeeds to the highest level. Like, I mean, I think I want to say he's only 40 years old. I mean, he's young, in the coaching world. I mean, hell, if you're succeeding and you're learning from one of the greatest, you get your job. Nick Casario came from there, so I mean,
yeah, and also he's a John Carroll guy too. So I think that's more about I think Nick Casario probably knowing who or familiar with him.
Right.
So he's like, all right, let me talk to you for a little bit. So I think a lot of people kind of worried a little bit, thinking, oh, it's about to be a Patriots way. I don't think we have to worry about that. But also, to your point, man, why the hell was he calling? I mean, he should have been calling plays in New England or something.
Yeah, Matt Patricia was calling
Patricia,
plays. Yeah.
Why
Joe,
defensive coach? Yeah. Idiot. Yeah.
Okay.
But well, and to kind of Al for your draft thing. Look, I was the CJ Stroud, the Bryce Young with Crenshaw, but man, now that we got DeMeco, and we might go back to zone blocking defense or offense. Second round, third round, we might be able to get him. I'll take Anthony Richardson. He's that Florida offensive scheme is zone blocking.
He gonna beat it in the third round, man. He going top 10, man.
Hey, they said the same thing about Malik Willis last year, and look what happened to him. He didn't get drafted until the third round. I think he's the same boat as Anthony Richardson. I don't think no. He's going to live up to hype like Malik Willis did, and I think he's going to fall to the third round. If he's there,
I think the advantage Richardson got is he played for Florida,
right?
So he got a little more competition. Who the hell would Liberty play?
Right.
So I think that kind of messed him up too. But man, I don't know, man. I think one thing I don't want, I do not want the Texans to try to get Trey Lance, man. I don't understand why that's even a conversation. I don't, man, clearly the 49ers got some quarterback issues. So I don't even see them trading him because of that. I think they need to see what they got in them. They traded 3 first-round picks for him.
Right.
So they need to see what they got in him. And now I don't see them trading him anyway, but definitely they ain't trading him for no third-round pick like everybody keeps saying.
Right.
Yeah.
John Lynch should be fired if he get a third-round pick for him.
Let me just go off of the Trey Lance and I'll hit on DeMeco real quick. Yeah, I even without the Purdy news, I was definitely not about the whole let's get Trey Lance. It doesn't make any sense to us whatsoever. We have the second overall pick. Use it. That's what it's there for. Personally, I think that DeMeco, even though he's a defensive coordinator, obviously that he still needs a quarterback. You can't win any football games without a quarterback. And there are pretty decent edges that you can get and DTs that you can get outside of the top 3. So I do think that I think he goes Stroud. Honestly, I think I'm leaning towards Stroud as the option at this point. I think that Bryce Young obviously is the favorite for many Texans fans as well as the media. I think the size will prevent him from being as successful as many think. I hope I'm wrong. I hope if we get him, obviously, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong no matter where he goes, frankly, because I would like any young man to succeed. But personally, I think that it's going to be Stroud or potentially even Levis. And I know I get a lot of hate when I say Levis out there. Landry hates it when I say that. He puts it on blast. But I will say that it is an option. And Briggs was trying to talk about Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is an athletic freak. And if he does what we think he's going to do in the combine, there's no way he's getting outside the top 15. This dude is 6'4", 240 pounds, and can run a 4.4. What the hell? The dude can throw 70 yards. He is an athletic freak. There's no other way to say it. And I think he's going to go in the top 15. And if he does that in the combine, oh shit. Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. Now, the real question is whoever drafts him has to have the patience to know that he's not going to be NFL ready for 2 years, at least, possibly even 3. So do the McNairs and does this franchise have the patience to draft Richardson? Probably not, which is why I'm saying Stroud. But I just want to talk about DeMeco for a moment. Fucking A, we didn't have to draft picks for Sean Payton. Thank God. Shane was actually my first. I really liked the fact that he had 3 years of corner experience, more corner experience than anyone that we interviewed aside from Sean Payton. I know that we're going to draft a quarterback this class, so I wanted an offensive-minded coach. I know that if we do well, anyone that DeMeco gets will likely be hired away. However, there's so many positives with DeMeco, right? He's been a leader of men since college. He told dudes when he was a rookie, what to do, and they listened. He did that in the NFL when he was a Texan. J.J. Watt and Seth Payne. Seth Payne was a vet and still called him Cap and listened to what he had to say. So shout out to Seth Payne's YouTube channel, as well as Lenny Locker. Seth Payne has a great video about his time working with DeMeco and saying about the stories that he had, personal stories about DeMeco. So if anyone is really wondering why DeMeco is considered a leader of men, watch that video on Seth Payne's YouTube video. Really, really phenomenal stuff. I'm going off a rant here, and I'll stop in a second. But the whole thing is, DeMeco was a great choice. You can arguably say if he's not the first, he was a second. It was really Sean Payne and DeMeco. Really, like those were there were only two people that were interviewed by all five teams that needed a head coach, and DeMeco was one of them. And that's saying a lot. And Ryan Clark, when he said that I don't want somebody that no one else wants, that really is important. He was so coveted, and we got him. That is truly important. What that means is that he's going to bring free agents here. He's going to bring staffing here. He's going to rise the level of this organization, so we're not a joke anymore. We will be able to compete. I'm not saying
you got to quit capping. Nobody wants to come to Houston. Come on now, man. Nobody wants to come here. Don't you know that? God, capping all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just finish off and just say, like, the whole point is that this is a great hire for us. I think that anybody who still is not on the DeMeco train needs to do a little more research and figure out why we hired him, because we didn't hire him just because he was a former Texan. We hired him because he was a great candidate.
Yeah, top 5 defense in 2 years. Come on now. What else is there to say?
So we spoke briefly on the tight end coach from New England. What do you guys feel about the other two candidates for potential offensive coordinator? We can start with anybody. Anybody can go first. Anybody.
Real quick, I'll just say this real quick. Any of them will be great in my opinion. I trust like if DeMeco wants them, then go ahead and get them. And everybody can say, "Oh, this is Nick Caserio's hire. This is Nick Caserio doing." Nah, I think this is DeMeco's call. So if DeMeco trusts him, I trust him. I mean, you got to gamble sometimes, and I think all three guys would be a great fit for the offense.
Okay.
Let me talk a little bit about Troy Walters, because I think a lot of people have questions about him. And he's actually older than DeMeco. I think he's 45, 44, 46, around there. So he has a lot of experience. He has 11 years of collegiate experience alone. And so this is not a dude that, is just coming up out of nowhere. He has a ton of experience, and he helped Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean, you look at what the Bengals had. I don't think that would be a bad choice at all. I like the Troy Walters thing. About the Patriots dude, what his name was, Clay, right? Nick Cayley. Nick Cayley. So I don't mind if we bring someone here from the Patriots. I know some people hate the Patriots way, but I actually like the fact that Nick has a Rolodex that he's been building for the past 20 years. Between him and DeMeco Ryans, they will put a staff together that works. It already looks like they're working together. It doesn't seem like there's any combative nature. So far, things look great. And I want them both to sit down and figure out a staff that's going to work well. I think people have to stop thinking about Nick's just going to bring people here that he knows. Well, that's what every general manager and head coach does. They bring people that they know, right? And so it is important that they can work together, and then between both of them, build a staff, and particularly build a staff that can work with the turnover we have, meaning that we don't need just a great OC. We need a great QB coach that can turn into OC. Because if we do well, like I said before, that OC is going to have a new job as a head coach. So we need to constantly make sure that we're bringing in talent that can be elevated and be promoted to be an OC and so forth. We need a DB coach that can be a DC if they're taken away. And I think that is what Nick and DeMeco are working on.
Yeah.
Figgy, what about you, Figgy? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of with A1 on this one, man. I think I don't have a preference, man. The one thing I will say, I just don't want us to look at I don't think people throwing out Greg Roman and stuff like that. It's like, nah, I don't think you need somebody like that. I think I think he could grab somebody from San Francisco. He could, or Nick Casario, like you said, Chubby Bear. I think Nick Casario kind of got some people he can bring in too that can help a lot. So yeah, man, I trust DeMeco on this, man. He been around some good people. Right. So I would trust him on that.
Well, and you're also doing a due diligence, right? Like if you interview them, you're not just interviewing them for the OC job. Or like you might say it's for the OC job, but say you get to somebody else. All right, we still have to fill the tight end position. We still have to fill in blah 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 blah. Like you can still fit these guys in that you already interviewed for the OC position. Like you're still you're still making a lot of moving parts. So I like that we're interviewing more than one. Hopefully we interview a couple more, but like I said, I'm okay with whoever DeMeco brings in.
Fair. Okay, fellas, did we cover everything?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this part of the show where we like to ask the guests questions. Is that okay with you, Figgy Fig?
That's cool with me, man.
All right. Briggs, you go first. What you got for Mr. Fig over here?
Well, Figgy, like we said at the beginning of the podcast, it's a wonderful month, Black History Month. For what inspired you to become a producer in the sports industry? Like, is there a certain person, or is it just like, hey, I just want to do this?
To be honest, man, I originally didn't want to get into sports, man. I was just a regular fan that, keep up with sports. I watch Sports Center and that's about it. But I always wanted to work in the hip hop station. But nowadays they really don't have any positions like that. They kind of got the DJ doing everything. So my only way in the business was through sports, because sports, they always need people to run the boards or, work game days and stuff like that. And once I got into that, I fell in love with it. It was, it was fun to do. It was fun interacting. I never even thought I would be on air like that because believe it or not, man, before I went to broadcasting school, I was a shy dude. I ain't see myself cracking the microphone or doing anything like that. So, I got into sports. I just got super comfortable. I started doing more research on what I need to know. And it was pretty cool, man. But to answer your question, people I looked up to, I always looked at people like Stuart Scott. Rest in peace, Stuart Scott. Because
damn, that set the bar high, bro, right there.
Yeah, because you know what? Out of all the people, because he wasn't the first black person in sports, right. But if you look at somebody like him, that's somebody I could kind of relate to, because the way he talked, some of the lingo he used, is some of the lingo I use or I heard of. So the way he break down highlights, it was like, dang, that's cool. I can relate to that. He wasn't just giving the highlights, just read from the teleprompter. He would put his own flavor to it. Where I'm like, okay, like people in the hood can relate to Stuart Scott. So that's somebody I always looked up to. And right now, somebody I look up to, my man, JR Sport Brief. He do the CBS National show at night.
Yeah.
And the dude is dope. If you look up his history, how he started, he just started on a YouTube. He started pretty much how y'all started.
That's the goal, brother. That's the goal.
Yeah. He started with a YouTube channel. He would pump out content, and this was like 2009, 2010, and he just kept going with it. So if you look at his old YouTube channel, this dude got interviews with Kobe Bryant. He got interviews with all type of random people, and he do it all, man. I think he do some work. So I think he stay in Atlanta. So he do some work with the hip hop station out there, V103. So he worked with Big Tig. Remember Big Tigger that used to work with BET? So he do some work with him. He do his night show. He fill in for the Fan up in New York. So he's doing a lot of stuff, and when you listen to him, he's just him. He be himself. He talk about, stuff his own way. He don't sound like a Landry Locker, or he don't sound like a Sean Pendergast. He's pretty much JR. He's real. He's legit. So I look at somebody like that right now, like, damn, if I could just be Figgy Fig, people gonna like me. I don't have to, because I used to think I had to sound a certain way to be in sports. And that's not the case, man. They just want they want you to be you. You don't have to sound like Colin Cowherd. You can be yourself. So that's why I look at people like JR who is himself. I look at Ron and Show Hughley, who is himself, and a lot of black folks like that. So I look up to all those dudes.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you went to the what was it? The Ohio Center Broadcasting School, right?
Yeah. So now I think they changed the name. I think it's Ohio Media School, and I think they got an Illinois Media School, Colorado Media School. They got random stuff like that, but it's pretty much a trade school.
Okay, so how long was you there? And when you got the call, so I'm assuming you got the call to work in Houston?
So little backstory. So I was at Ohio Center for Broadcasting. I went there back in 2011, and it was like a 9 or 10 month program. So I want to say I finished up around September. And how I got to this company, I started off as an intern up in CBS Radio in Cleveland. So I was working with 92.3 The Fan and all the other stations they had. And so I did that up until 2016 when I moved down here, and I was on the street team. I wasn't even in programming. So I was on the street team the whole time. And once I moved down here, I moved down here because my wife got a job. She got a job as a teacher. And at that time, she like, it was either Houston, I want to say it was DC, or I think it might have been Arizona, somewhere in Arizona. And Houston was paying the most. So we like, screw it. Houston it is. I don't know anything about Houston.
And the rest is history, huh?
Yeah, I never thought I'd be moving to Houston. So once we moved down here, went down here to visit, I was like, man, this place is underrated. Like, how can nobody talk about Houston? And this was 2016. So I mean, people talk about it now, but back in 2016, I was thinking it looked like a Paul Wall video. But I came down here, I'm like, this city is big as hell. So I ended up transferring down to Houston, and I was still on the street team. And I pretty much worked my way up. I got into programming, into the programming side, and the rest is history. I would fill in. I was doing all type of work, and I took whatever opportunity that was handed, that was there. So that's how I got to where I'm at now.
Okay, a couple more before we end it with Brown Chubby over here. What do you miss from Cleveland, and how did you and Rocky become friends?
Okay, what I miss from Cleveland outside of my family, not a damn thing. I don't, man.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
like
it.
I miss my family. I got nieces that I seen one time because they was born when I was down here. But one thing I do miss, so in Cleveland, we are known for like corned beef sandwiches. So big corned beef sandwiches. And this is another thing, y'all. I know y'all don't know what it is, but it's a thing called a Polish boy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much a Polish sausage with barbecue sauce, French fries, and coleslaw on it. We very known for that. I don't know if they got it in. Do they got it in Kansas City? I can't, but
they probably have it at the road. They probably have it at the rodeo this year.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I miss the most about Cleveland. But outside of that, the other thing I miss about Cleveland too is the casinos. We had the casinos there, and they just got sports betting there. So I see my whole damn timeline talking about betting on sports and parlays and shit. So I'm like, damn, I wish we had that down here. But as far as Ryan Rocket, I met him because he was a part-time producer just like me. So when I got in the door, he was there. He was filling in. He was doing production around the station, and we actually just became cool because whenever he'd be working the show, I'll come in after him, and we'd just be in the studio just having debates and talk about you heard this new song, or how you feel about this, how you feel about that. And it was another young lady. Her name was Janice. We call her Jules. And we will all be sitting there debating and arguing and all this other stuff. And we was like, man, we should start a podcast. So that's how we started the podcast. And eventually, Ryan Rocket started producing for the Paul Gallant show at night. So with us being the only 3 black producers there, we would have to record later that night because Paul's show didn't end till 11. So and then also we were scared to record up there because we felt like people was gonna say something about 3 black dudes up or 3 black people in there recording during business hours. So we would be up there 1 a.m. recording the podcast. So that's how we so that's how we pretty much got cool, man. Just being around at the station and having the same interests.
Awesome.
Okay. VT, take us home.
So me, Crenshaw, and Matt had this debate a while ago, and this is based on 50 Cent. So he actually had a statement where he thought that Jay-Z was more impactful to Eminem. My question to you is that in the past 20 years, can you tell me what hip hop artists do you think are the most impactful in the past 20 years? So I'm not saying going back too far, like, because we know there's obviously with the start of hip hop, there's a ton of impactful dudes, but and ladies too. But in the past 20 years, tell me 1 or 2 that you think are the most impactful to music.
Impactful to music. See, that could go either way, man, because you could go the Jay-Z route and say, look at all the opportunities he opened up or where he started from and where he at now. Or I might throw a little curveball here, but you could go Gucci Mane. I feel like somebody like Gucci Mane, probably I would say 80 or 90% of the music you hear right now came from a Gucci Mane pipeline. He this dude's in Atlanta. He gave everybody a chance. It would be no Migos if it wasn't for Gucci. Nicki Minaj, we wouldn't know who Nicki Minaj was. He kind of birthed a lot of people, and I feel like he really don't get that credit that's deserved. And he's so humble about it. I actually met Gucci Mane, I want to say back in 2008. He was we was in Columbus, and I was backstage because I was trying to be a rapper during that time too. But he was super cool, man. He was real cool, and he always gave people an opportunity. So that's kind of a trick question, man, because I think Eminem was impactful too. The only issue, because I've seen this debate on Twitter, Eminem or Jay-Z, the most impactful. And the only pushback I would have with Eminem is he did sell more than Jay-Z, but he kind of just stayed in the house. He didn't really, I mean, you can't name a lot of artists that he put on to make millions or stuff like that. You could
that sounds familiar. It sounds like somebody said that.
See, you can look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z was responsible for Rihanna, and look what Rihanna's doing. Jay-Z,
help with Beyonce. I mean,
or Kanye West,
J. Cole. The list goes on. I mean, Lil Wayne was more impactful than Eminem. Look at these guys swag now because of Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, but and there's no slight to Eminem. I think Eminem is just his personality. I think he's just a homebody, man. When you look at Eminem, He can out rap everybody.
He's a hard worker. Like he stays
Yeah.
in the booth, and that's the only place
Yeah, like look at, he don't
I-
even get dressed up.
Right. I watched a thing about Akon, and he was talking about Eminem, and he did that song. I forget what it was.
Smack That.
Smack That. Yeah. And Akon said, "Hey, Em, I'm gonna come." He's like, "All right, I'll be in the studio between 9 and 5, coming in." And he said, "Man, I got there like at 5:05, 5:08, and Eminem's leaving." And he's like, "Hey, man, let's go." He's like, "No, man, I told you 9 to 5. Like, you're not here. I'm going home. You gotta hit me up tomorrow." So, I mean, I appreciate that kind of dedication.
But I think my most underrated, impactful person will probably be Gucci Mane, because, like I said, Nicki Minaj. He put Nicki Minaj on, or I wouldn't say put her on, but he put her on the record, and we didn't know who the hell she was.
Right.
Same thing with French Montana.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody know who French Montana was like that, and he put him on the record. There's so many people he did that with. Ray. I think Ray Sherman. I think he had a song with Ray Sherman at one point. So it was just so many different artists that went through Gucci Mane, and a lot of these artists wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him.
Okay.
So before I know we gotta kick it off, but before we do, who has better music, Ohio or Houston?
Come on, man. Ain't even the question. It got to be Houston, man. It was at one point where people from Cleveland, I ain't gonna say the whole Ohio, but specifically in Cleveland, were sounding like people from Houston at the time, because Houston was hot. And you know how it go when one part of the country is hot, then people start taking that sound and trying to sound like whatever's hot.
Swing, yeah.
So people was up in Cleveland talking about capping and candy paint and swangers and stuff. So Houston, I think the music is so underrated, and I think it's starting to get a little appreciation now. But I think the run, I hate that the run was so short. But people, man, I think people be sleeping on Houston music, man.
No.
Okay. VT, any more questions before we end the show?
No, that was it.
All right. Well, I want to thank y'all for listening to us. Figgy Fig, tell the folks where they can find you and what you got coming up.
Man, you can find me on Twitter at @TheFiggyFig, or all social medias for that matter at @TheFiggyFig. I am on In the Loop with Landry Locker, John Lopez from 10 to 2 on Sportsradio 610. And if you want to hear some hip hop takes, I'm on the Gems and Juice podcast with my man Ryan Rocket. And episodes drop every Saturday, but we live stream on Friday evenings. And right now I'm doing the best of today on Sportsradio 610 at 6 p.m. So a couple places you can find me. What I got going on, I've just been working, man. I'll be at the presser tomorrow to see what's up with DeMeco Ryans. And I think it's gonna be crazy, man. I think we're gonna see a lot of former players there, man. I was talking to Wade Smith. He said it might be up to the 40s or 50s amount of former players that be there, and that was shocking. I thought it was gonna be about 9 to 10, but apparently DeMeco is the man, and everybody loved Cap.
Look, Figgy, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor, okay? You see JJ Watt tomorrow. You tell him we got a campaign to get his ass on the podcast, all right? and if you see Cal McNair, you need to tell him there ain't no better podcast than the Texans Fan Battle, all right?
I got you, man. I got you. Hopefully I see you.
We'll take Hannah, hell, but
yeah, anybody.
But Bridge, go ahead, tell the folks where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, man, you can find me at A1 Day One Texans, and you can also find me on Monday nights on the AFC South Fan Battle, where I be clowning the Titans, Jaguars, and Colts fans because their fan base sucks. So yeah, find me there, and also here. So can't wait.
Okay, and VT, tell the folks where they can find your amazing. I mean, yo, goddamn, your work is off the damn chain, man. That shit is good, man. Tell everybody, man.
You can find me at Brown Chubby Bear on Twitter. I have a series called Another VT Rant. I'll have another one out on Friday. I will be talking about the national media and how much they upset me. So that's one you got to tune in. If you're watching on Facebook or if you download this a podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Texans Fan Battle. That's where you can watch my new episode.
All right, you can find me at Fifth Ward Crenshaw, Twitter, Instagram. I just be me. Happy Black History Month again. I'll be the host for the whole month, and we out.
So wait, how they gonna put y'all to work? They gonna put you to work on Black History Month?
Hey,
it was my idea.
I was about to say, don't be putting that out there, Figgy Fig. That was
my idea.
I was just playing. It's funny. They had me working on Martin Luther King Day. I'm like, how everybody else off and don't work? That's all good. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, babe.
All right.
Have a great night.
All right.
And we're good.